Okay.
Right.
Working?
Yeah. No idea if I'm in shot or not, but you are, and that's what matters.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, sunburn. It was a nice day,
Very nice day.
but a long day in the sun. Hence the sunburn.
It was quite funny we were saying earlier how because we're always cycling in the same direction. It's our
mirror
right,
as well.
it's our
look at
right
that.
side that gets burnt. So the right leg and the right arm are always burnt.
Yeah, because it's
Left side not as much. So
we're cycling. The sun kind of comes over you, but because we're cycling east to west, and the sun's to the south. It's just constantly from that angle,
west to east.
west to east. God,
You're awful for geography.
awful.
No, good day. Where did
Should've
we
done
leave
it
off
for
yesterday?
We left.
We just got back from Yellowstone, haven't we?
We just got back
That's
from
awesome.
Yellowstone, which was awesome. Yeah, he took us on the ride and told us all about the chainsaws and the bears and chopping them up. And yeah, then we went to sleep pretty much straight away about 10, and that's why the last vlog is coming so late is because we didn't have any Wi-Fi there because they're an older couple, but so active. Everyone there's so active. They were 60, but you wouldn't have guessed it.
Not at all.
They're like off
Kayaking,
Yeah.
climbing, cycling.
mountain biking as
That's been a
well.
great time.
Yeah. He's talking about all these 100 miles days he do on a mountain bike, and we're like, oh, whoa,
That's impressive.
fair play. Yeah.
Speaking of 100 miles a day,
yeah.
we did.
Oh no! First, we've forgotten the past 2 days. This is what you might well title the vlog because yeah,
It's not happening.
it will happen.
It's not
Just
happening.
because you're saying it's not
People
happening,
will
it
look it up for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, so where we went from where
Okay,
where
it's
were we
so
going?
long, yeah.
Missoula. We were
Like
going
Missoula,
to Missoula from Wallace,
Yeah.
and it was no,
Absolute middle of nowhere.
yeah, and it was no, it wasn't from Wallace. It was the day after. Wallace to Missoula, Missoula's Bozeman. Yeah. Yes,
No,
Missoula's
no,
Bozeman.
Missoula to Helena.
Missoula's Helena. Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
Anyway,
one day, a couple of days ago.
One day, a couple of days ago, we cycled past a sign, and we
Caused us to giggle.
caused us to giggle.
We were tired, hungry, aching. But we had
Yeah.
a giggle because the sign said,
Said Testicle Festival.
"Yeah, there's a testicle festival going on somewhere between Missoula and Helena."
And it was there's a picture of a donkey and he was snorting, and the air that was coming out looked like testicles. It was really funny.
And then say the other thing you wanted to say.
Oh, the other thing was
Yeah.
yesterday from
And today, in fact.
and today in fact, yeah, but yesterday from Livingston to goodness me, from Bozeman to Livingston. Wow, it's been a long day, and the sun's got to my head. It's awesome. We saw this stag, and it was on the side of this kind of hillside, and it was just stood there looking so majestic, and it was in the distance, and with his antlers, and just staring down at us.
And the same again today.
And the same again today, but on the
So
left
they're
side of the road. Not the So we've now seen a stag on the right side and the left side of the road.
But,
Just because we didn't want to spare you any details.
so yeah, festivals and stags is
That's what we wanted to tell you about.
But today,
On
we
to
got up
today.
relatively early again.
6:30
Yeah.
alarm.
And then the most amazing breakfast cooked for us.
James always, you can never quite get out of bed. It always takes a while.
No incentive to.
But
But
there
the
was one
most
time when we were in the hotel and I switched on the main light. You're like, no. And he had switched on the bedside
Oh, yeah,
light
quite
first. And then
he's one of these really annoying people like you, Daddy. He will not say wake up or give you a little shake or something. He'll turn on a little side light straight on. Right, time to go. Let's get up. And it's the most annoying thing.
But it's time to go. If you're awake, you might as well just get on with it because otherwise
If you're awake, this is the other
you're just
thing.
wasting
He
time.
doesn't sleep. I was going to bed tonight. I
That's
roll
right.
over. He's there on his phone. And this morning I woke up. He's there on his phone. I sleep. So if you're awake, yeah, you might as well
This
get up.
is
But if you're
true.
not,
I sleep, but I just can't.
you sleep. I'm glad. I'm glad.
No, it's true. I haven't been sleeping well recently. No, the only reason is I couldn't get to sleep,
Yeah.
and then I was just
Up
like,
early.
oh,
You keep getting up
well.
really early.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre. I don't know why. Usually, I can sleep literally whenever I want, wherever, and I get up really, really late.
But now cycling 100 miles plus a day in the sun, you can't. It's crazy. But anyway, back on track. So this morning, when I finally got up, we had the most amazing omelette cooked for us.
provided
which
to
had,
us by Andy and
it's
Betsy.
amazing. There's
which
sort of
was just
eggs
wonderful.
and peppers and onions
Just
and there's
spices.
toast and jelly and coffee, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And we should mention, I don't know if I mentioned yesterday, but this was a really last minute hosting, so we've been let down by a Warm Showers host, and another one who wasn't there at the time gave us the number and said, try them. And 1 p.m. when we were leaving Bozeman, we called up and said, any chance that you could host us? And they said, yeah, there's a spot in our basement so you can sleep. And in my head, it was going to be the floor of the basement, which was good enough. It was a place to stay. But we got there and there was a bed and a mattress, and we had an amazing breakfast. We had the tour of Yellowstone. So thank you so much for that was one time we really, really were in an emergency situation, and you helped us out. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and we were their first guest as well.
Yes.
So that was really.
So looking to go on to Warm Showers, so we were their trial run. So hopefully. You'll see them soon.
Unless they just never host anything.
Possibly. We'll have to check when we get back. But an amazing breakfast, and then we were out the door by 8, I think it was.
Before 8.
And then it started off really nicely.
Off really well because
we little side roads instead of I-19.
Yeah, and so basically we were cutting off a section. We all know how that goes. But we were cutting off a section to go to
one day.
Across along the river, and then we were going to hit a frontage highway, which just ran along the I-90 basically the whole way. And also bear in mind we know our way. We know that if there's not a photo on Google Maps, it's a no-go because obviously they haven't bothered to it's not a main road. They've not bothered to go down there. But their photos, it looked like concrete. You zoomed in a little way and went down the street, and it was all concrete. It was fine, and it was lovely. It was a little concrete.
It's nice to start with.
Yeah, down by the river.
The outsides of Livingston, out the
I went by the park. The park was gorgeous.
Saw some cool stuff and mountains.
Yeah.
But then
about halfway, about a third to halfway down this road.
I think it was 8 miles to go before the main road.
And so we'd been on it for a fair way already. It started that. Well, first of all, there was a little track. There was a little track dirty section, but we got through that. We thought, and it was back onto concrete. We thought, okay, this is going to be alright. And then it went a little bit stony. We were like, okay, how long is this going to last? And then before you know it, it wasn't gravel. It was huge, lumps of stone, really uncomfortable to ride on.
Like a beach, like a pebble beach.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah. But and the stones were sharp, and every now and again you just go bing, zing, and they flick out from under your tire because of the pressure with all our bags and the weight of our bags and the popping out front of the tires, and we were terrified for punches, and our asses were so sore. And it was so 8 miles of this, and it was just non-stop.
And it was so up and down as well. It wasn't even flat.
No.
You couldn't go fast downhill. You definitely couldn't go fast uphill.
Yeah. And
then I punctured.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but the front wheel actually.
Yeah.
Which is nice because if it's the back wheel, you have to take all your luggage off. You have to flip the bike, take it out of the chain. The front wheel, just take the wheel off.
Yeah.
Had a look for the culprit. Couldn't find anything. So another inner tube on. Pumped up, set off for 4 more miles.
And of all the places to puncture as well, it wasn't awful. It was sunny, and it was there were mountains and cows, and we were saying if we punctured on that stormy way up to Helena, it would have been the end of the world.
Yeah.
But got on with it, and it was so bumpy at one point that literally my chain fell off. I wasn't doing anything, but it was just going up and down so much that it just jumped off altogether. So
then that carried on for a bit.
Yeah.
Then we had one recall encounter with some deer, which came running across from our left and sprang across the road and off the other side.
And literally, I was saying, I can't get over this, but they're so majestic. They jumped over the fences. I told James already, but they were they jumped over those horses in Mary Poppins. They the kind of when they go around on the carousel. And they kind of go like that, and it was like slow motion, but then they were moving so fast all at the same time. And they sprang across in front of us.
He's very excited.
So excited, and we think James
might have
may
caught their
a bit.
tails on the GoPro. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was trying to stay on the bike.
They're beautiful white-tailed deer. As far as we are from the camera, it was just amazing, and
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, really.
But then it carried on for probably 2 miles after that. But then finally, we took a right turn downhill over the river, and we hit what was it called?
The highway. US Old Highway 10.
Old Highway 10.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. That was the best part.
Amazing.
It's probably slightly downhill, if not flat, with tailwind, concrete. Just shot past, again averaging 16, 17 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it was so nice because it wasn't like we were in the middle of nowhere, because you saw the cars going by on the I-90, but there were no cars on this road. We'd let pass a car maybe every 10, 15 minutes or so.
And then, so basically, obviously, the driver on the right here, we were just chilling around, there were no cars going by.
Hands off the handlebars.
He was doing hands off handlebars, classic. And we're on the left-hand side of the road, and the next minute a car goes by on the right. And, this is the amazing thing in America. In England, they'll be straight on the horn if you're on the wrong side. We were on the wrong side of the road, but they didn't care.
They
just
smiled
went
at
on the
us.
wrong side.
We
drove
just
past.
gave that way.
And the amount of people here who will toot the horn, you know, and wave at you and smile. The trains going by, the people sitting down. It's just amazing.
Really, really friendly place.
So we rolled into
Love
our
it.
first stop really quickly.
Well,
really happy.
was it the? Did we hit the mongoose first? Was that before our first
Possibly.
stop?
I think it might have been after.
Okay, we'll talk about the animals after. Yeah.
But yeah, first stop was
Yeah.
great. I needed the loo, went in, asked the restaurant, no matter who weren't paying. Yeah, it was fine. Friendly people again, asking where we've been.
And I went to the behind the fence.
Yeah. And then again, high spirits this point, weren't we?
Bench in shade.
We've done just over 30 miles,
Mm-hmm.
despite the puncture, despite the track. And then the wind
about
changed.
what was that? When did we get there for?
It's about 10:30, I think. So 2.5 hours or so after we set off.
Oh no, that's 36 miles.
Yeah,
Which isn't bad
yeah.
going considering everything
Pretty
that went
good.
wrong.
But then the wind changed, as it seems to do around here, and
Yeah.
sort of a headwind or a side wind.
Mm.
So you had to sort of tuck down.
Oh yeah, and then this is where so the cycling route took us off on another
A huge detour.
huge detour. So
Yeah.
we stuck to the frontage road, which ran along I-90, and then it disappeared for a bit. Oh, no, actually, before that. Anyway, we've continued along that for 25 miles, where we saw some mongoose, which was awesome, just like in the middle of the road, and they're like tiny little like hamster-like creatures, and they like scurried off to the side, and there's a whole horde of them, and I thought that was really cool. They're really, really cute. They disappeared really quickly.
We saw so much wildlife today. It's incredible.
Yeah, prairie dogs as well. There's a place called Prairie Dog Road, and there's a wildlife viewing area, and we happened to cycle past. And
speaking of dogs, we saw a wild dog as well. That was really cool.
yeah, that was later towards the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we saw, did we think it was a coyote in the end?
Possibly. Yeah.
Possibly,
Can't
yeah.
really think of what else it would be.
We have some photos. We'll upload them to Instagram. They're really, really blurry because they're literally, I zoomed in as far as I could go. We need that new Harley thing because that's got insane zoom. But it was, Anyway, that was pretty cool.
It was nice. And then again, roll into lunch. There's like a bit of headwinds if you're a bit more sore.
Lunch was awesome
Yeah,
actually
this cool
because
town,
lunch was in a town because we stopped for our first break at a town called Big Timber. So Timber by Pitbull and someone else were going around my head all morning. I couldn't get it out, so annoying. And we stopped in at Reed Point.
And proper old cowboy time.
Yeah,
Swinging doors, saloons.
literally, and a huge I didn't even know what the building was for, but it was kind of like big and made of timber.
Old
and
granary or something.
Yeah, exactly.
With the train running through.
Yeah.
How a sandwich. This is the brilliant thing. So, you know, an normal sandwich is bread, salt in the middle, and we buy a loaf of bread
Mhm.
and
For like
filling.
$1. And,
And basically, we could have made 4 different sandwiches, but we literally got 5 things of bread.
because it's so
All
squished.
the ham, 5 things of bread, and just ate it like
Yeah.
that.
Because
we
it's
can
so
pack it down,
because
to
we
save
pushed
room.
it into the bags.
So just couldn't be bothered to make those
And
sandwiches.
literally a loaf of bread about this big became about this big because it was just so squished, and so we just kind of put the ham on top and ate that as a
Quick
carrots.
lunch,
Yeah, and
then headed off sort of the other
oh
side of the house, didn't we?
it was awesome because we sat under the shade of a saloon bench, and you went in and asked for water.
Mm.
They weren't that friendly.
We weren't the friends. Actually, they were the first not friendly Americans we've met.
It was a bit scary because they
And there's also a gun club as well, and
Yeah.
some proper sort of hard Americans who probably should have been working, sitting daytime drinking. One of the guys was on Clash of Clans, I noticed.
Really.
But yeah, we left there fairly quickly,
Yeah, no, didn't spend much time there.
and then headed out around I-90.
Yeah, so this was where we had to. This was
Yeah, no,
where
we
the
went back
track
onto it.
ended. So we
Yeah.
actually went on to I-90 because that was why the bicycle route took us on such a detour. So we said, right, we're just going to hop onto I-90 for 10 miles. And this was where we saw the coolest guy who was on a sit down bicycle, and he had a proper like windshield and a cap and like a satellite
Speaker.
phone, a GPS.
2 sat phones, GPS,
Yeah.
had a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
about 10 spare wheels, because they're about that big, so they're not
Yeah.
common bike shops.
Yeah, literally like in his shoes, like hanging off the side.
That's
That's
quite
pretty
cool.
awesome.
And
And what was he doing?
he'd been going for 20 days, so this was his 21st. And then he was just doing these trips around America, and his wife was at home, and he had one GPS which allowed her to track him every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Had a chat with him, going quite slowly though. I think that'll probably take quite a long time.
Yeah, it's getting very
But
slowly.
much more comfortable, sat in a
Yeah,
nice
it
position,
looked very
speaker,
chilled.
got your windshield, so sort of bees stinging you.
Yeah.
It was, but we sort of chatted to him for about 5 minutes and then shot on.
Yeah. Oh, and also, literally 15 minutes after we set off, the Chelsea versus Arsenal kicked off in the Europa League final, and I support Chelsea, so this was devastating because I couldn't watch it. And then I started to watch it, and I'd had like split screen on my phone, so I had the map up because I was navigating today, and I had the YouTube up for live streaming with the match on the top half, and I managed just about the first half until my phone decided it was overheating and shut down altogether. So I had to reboot it, and I couldn't watch the match because it was so hot today as well with the sun, so that couldn't have been good for my phone at all. And yeah, so I couldn't watch the match, but then I got updates through my mum's let me do 3 updates, which was lovely because she was sat at home watching it with my dad and my brother, and that was quite a joke, so I had a little commentary on it. But yeah, I'm gonna sit down and watch the highlights tonight. But that was really annoying because we literally, that 2 hours we were cycling when the game was going on. But brilliant result, 4-1 Chelsea.
Everyone knows the real match is happening on the 1st, so tune into that.
On the 1st? Brighton aren't even in it.
Liverpool.
Liverpool?
Yes.
Is that your... Oh, okay.
Champions League, it's a big one.
That's to be fair, that's actually my dad's sport, so I'm going to back Liverpool for that.
But moving on from football.
The
afternoon took a bit more of a toll. It was a lot more up and down. My knee starts hurting again. Sam's knees hurting again.
It's really, it's bizarre because it kind of pops when it at the top of my flexion point, so when the pedal's highest up, and it's just frustrating because it always happens at the start of the ride, and eventually once I get into it, it becomes a bit better. So I kind of take the start of the ride just standing up out of my saddle, so it never flexes at the top point, and yours is at the bottom.
Low point,
yeah.
But I hope it'll figure itself out in a week or so. And from then it was just
take
it slow.
We went back onto the frontage road
and followed
Where
that
was
all
that?
the way.
Springtime. Springtime we came back off after Repoint, and it was amazing. There were these reeds, and I love the birds. They're black birds, but they have red and yellow wings, and they look so cool. And they're just stood on these really dried out reeds, and it's really colourful. And we went past a place called Eagle Mountain Road as well, which was awesome because it was they were tabletop mountains and sheer cliff faces, and you had eagles circling hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air, and it was just glorious. They were amazing, really, really stunning. You seeing it in real life, and you saw Baldy, you were a bit closer up.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, which I was jealous of. And cycled through those. So those passes were a bit more up and down, which was a bit rough going.
But then it sort of flattened out as we came into. Where are we now?
We had a quick stop in under a highway bridge because there was nothing in between Reed Point and Billings. Where I learned that Chelsea had won, which was great. And then we had about 20 minutes there. James was in awe of this blind,
it's really cool,
autistic British talent.
Yeah, I don't know. If you YouTube blind autistic boy in America's Got Talent, it's really, awesome. It's the power of music. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we cycled on fairly flat, fairly easy into Billings, where we saw the wild dog of some kind, which is quite cool. Yeah,
really cool.
That was really flat. You looked around, that was the first time we've actually thought, wow, because it was just, you've got the Rockies on one side, but it's everywhere else completely flat, which is quite cool.
Amazing.
Hot at this point, it's getting really hot.
Really warm. And we should say as well, this is coming to the end of a 120-mile day, and for us it was relatively flat. We had about 3,000 feet of up and down compared to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 before. So that was quite nice going for us. And we cycled in, went to Walmart. I picked up some lunch for the next day, had a bit of a faff getting the right bread and stuff.
So confusing. And I headed to the bike shop. What's it called? Spoke.
The Spoke shop.
Bikes were absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. Really good service.
It's amazing. They gave him
checked over the bike. It's just really nice. It's such nice every time you go into a bike shop. It's nice just chatting to the locals, about their biking experience. They're always asking about ours, which is awesome.
And they did that all for free, didn't they?
Yeah, which is really, really kind.
Yeah, awesome.
So massive thanks to you guys.
Goodness knows James is in the shoes, but now he's got a few.
But and then we met here.
I got some sun cream as well, which was vital because
we both picked up on Fact 50.
Yeah, because as we said, that the sun really targets that.
And we're at higher altitude here as well, so it's a bit more intense.
Yeah, and as well, because your arms are open like that, usually you get tanned here, but cycling they're open, and so you get a bit, I've got burn lined there, which isn't awful, but again, that's sun cream, that's why.
But no, I had a great reception here as always. It was amazing. We walked in and there were snacks, salami, cheese, crackers,
Yeah.
cherries laid out. There's water straight away. Jumped in the shower. An amazing lasagna for supper, which was delicious.
So nice. And the nicest.
So
it
much
was-
lasagna.
Yeah. We had about a half a tray each. What do they call that? Bacon tray. And they and what did he? Oh, we had this amazing local beer as well,
Yeah.
which I had this. It had this coconut flavour, which like kind of strangely really worked. And that was really nice. And you did lighter.
Yeah. And then we had local ice cream as well.
Yeah.
Moose tracks.
Amazing.
Which
Yeah.
is delicious. There's all peanut butter cups and chocolate flakes.
Just delicious.
Now the after sun's been applied, we've been
Yeah.
fed and watered, and it's time for a relatively early night. It's an early start tomorrow for a 150-mile day.
Yeah, we're gonna get to.
It's a big one.
It's gonna be huge tomorrow, but after tomorrow it'll be about 100 miles, 90 miles, 60 miles. So it's all gonna be really chilled, really flat. But tomorrow's.
And actually, after that 60-mile day in 3 days' time,
Yeah.
that'll be the Champions League final.
Yeah.
So I'll be up very early that day, setting off so that we can reach
Oh, by
our
lunchtime.
destination by lunchtime.
Such a good
Sit
idea,
down and
because
watch
that'll be on the weekend as well, so we'll be able to watch that over lunch.
Nice one. Have a chill.
Yes, come on. I'm so looking forward to that actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty good timing.
But another day done. Over 900 miles done now,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah, 925.
So
Ish.
tomorrow we'll hit 1,000, which would be really cool.
Yeah,
It's
so
the third
tomorrow,
trip.
title of the vlog, 1,000 miles.
And I'm interested to see how many miles, because we've taken some wrong routes and we've done longer ones, so
Yeah.
it's probably going to work out to be a bit more than we planned originally, which is cool.
Yeah.
I remember we're trying to raise £1 for every mile we cycle.
Yeah.
So visit our Just Giving page
Oh,
and donate to Crisis.
Do you want to get that out to say thank you?
Oh yeah, and then a couple more.
We want to say thank you to everyone who's donated.
We need to everyone. Okay.
Are we?
You just said to everyone who's
Okay,
donated.
well, yeah.
We'll say thank you to everyone who's donated. Why not?
You're on Instagram.
Yep.
Oh, for the thing. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so which is roughly 3,000 miles at the moment. That's what we got planned, and we're at 2,300 now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's really
57 people have donated. Thank you to everyone. Been awesome.
58 now.
58.
Thank you to Philip Robinson. Oh,
Phil Robinson.
that's so
What
nice.
a
Thank you, Phil.
lovely
Phil
lad.
hosted us on the
Thanks,
first
Phil.
night.
Yeah.
That's so
So
kind.
kind.
And we'll just do the more recent ones.
Yeah,
For the moment. So it's Fiona, thank you very much. My second cousin, something or other, and Fresky. That's very, very kind of you. And Fiona will be in touch as well about potential connections along the way, because we have a few nights where we need accommodation.
Yeah.
But thank you, Phil. That's really kind.
Yeah, those are the most
And we're
recent
now
ones for today.
on £2,278.
Nice.
87
75%, three quarters
really
of the
cool.
way there.
3/4 of the way there,
Come
and only
on.
a third of the way cycled. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll smash that target. But thank you again, everyone who's donated.
Mm.
We'll keep cycling slowly.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's a big one.
Tomorrow up at 6 a.m. Going to be out the door for 7. It's probably going to be a 12-hour day. It's probably going to be 7 till 7. And we'll see you for that with hopefully plenty more stories.
Or hopefully not.
Or hopefully not. Hopefully, hopefully it'll just be a 2-minute vlog.
No
Yeah, it's really
punches,
boring.
Flat.
Oh, actually, we should
Cool.
say as well, we've been we started listening to podcasts and
Yeah.
audibles. So I've been listening to Sherlock Holmes, and you've been listening to one about that.
What's it called? The Shrink Next Door, which is really cool.
Yeah, about this millionaire who got screwed over by a shrink, basically.
Enslaved by a Shrink. It's really cool. Go on to Apple Podcasts and listen to it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Where are
So
we going tomorrow?
Bighorn, and we're in Billings at the moment.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we're going to Wyoming. How awesome is that? The 4th state,
Bighorn.
Washington, Idaho, Montana, and now we're into Wyoming. And this is really cool because Montana's been the biggest state. Montana is literally as big as England. So we're finally out of Montana and into the hopefully flatter plains of Wyoming.
Yeah.
It says it's 1 day of cycling. That's what it says on Google Maps. It doesn't even say hours, it says 1 day.
We've got 12 hours, 57 minutes, so we'll probably aim to do it between 11 and 12.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
See you next time.
Right. Guten Abend. I'll set one up.